You kidnapped the wrong rich boy, girls. Okay, day 2, noon. Ooh. It's my vibrator again. Within the silence, the sudden phone vibration sounded extra sharp. Unlike yesterday, the girl picked up the phone immediately. Hello? Moshi Moshi? Perhaps she was asked about me as the girl glanced at me when answering the call. Yes, it's alright. I had no idea what the conversation entailed and could only guess from her words. I assume the bigger sister is working somewhere, like during the day, right? Okay. Was the kidnapper from yesterday? Where could she be if she needed to call to confirm my situation? Did she already contact someone to get the ransom? Or maybe they had other bases? He's next to me. Alright. The girl handed me the phone. I raised my tight hands and then shrugged helplessly. She hesitated a little, then put the phone next to my ear. At this distance, maybe I could bump into her by surprise. I would probably still overwhelm her even with my tied up limbs. Before making up my mind, I heard a voice from the phone. Hello? The cold voice sounded a little different through the phone. The noisy background seemed to indicate she was somewhere outside, maybe a restaurant or a karaoke place. Hey, can you hear me? Yep. I see you're still kicking. Sorry to disappoint. She didn't seem pleased with my greeting. Maybe she was expecting me to go into a panic and shiver in the corner. The more she wanted to see me in fear, the more I wanted to act indifferently. It wasn't really part of any sort of strategy, just some pointless show of resistance. You should know this by now, but I'll repeat it again. Don't try to run. Don't ask questions. I'm watching you, and if anything happens... She paused, then left a thread. Even if I agreed to return you, it wouldn't be breaking the deal if you lost an arm or leg. Got it. I didn't even need to guess what you wanted to say. Lose an arm or leg, throw me off a cliff, blah blah blah. Hell, even agreeing to return me alive was already saintly of her. Most wouldn't even intend to keep the hostage alive. Hostages usually got silenced after the kidnapper got the money and were ready to run. I think like 99% of all kidnappings turn out with the kidnapper not getting away with it though, right? If I'm like correct. Because it's really hard to like... It's already hard to pull off any crime. But with a kidnapping you leave behind so much evidence. Since everything happens on the fly, there's not a lot... Like, you can plan the kidnapping itself. What happens afterwards is somewhat out of your hands. I didn't plan to believe her words from the beginning. If I played too nice I might get killed without knowing how. Is my dad paying? None of your business. Just worry about yourself. This is me worrying about myself and my well-being, knowing whether or not he's paying for me. Fuck you, I would be so angry at her. I would bite into the phone and eat it. But bullshit, why would I ask about that if not out of concern for my own safety? I wanted to ask more, but got stopped mercilessly. I'm heading back now, so stay put, that's all. Hey, wait! Before I could say anything, she hung up. Hanging up right after she had said whatever she wanted. What a woman! What a woman! Hearing the empty sounds of a disconnected call, I knew being mad would make no difference. What did Big Sis say? Oh, she told me that you would free me up and we could have dinner together. She approached me once the call ended and asked me worriedly. Within the short period of time I wondered what to say. I can't manipulate... I should manipulate her, but I feel like this is gonna bite me in the ass, because this guy is bad at what he's doing. He's bad at not at like anything really. He's bad at being honest, he's bad at trying to get stuff out of people. She told me to stay put and she would be home soon. Oh, what did you expect? Oh, she said I would get like the primetime blowjob or what? Not showing any emotion, she simply took away the phone and sat back in the corner. I remembered how the Big Sis sat next to the window smoking, seemingly in thought and also in patience. In contrast, this girl was way too quiet, and she just sat there holding her legs together. Why do I need to know what her legs look like? How much did she really know about the kidnapping? She didn't even know me, nor what to do. The Big Sis asked her to guard me, so she guarded. The Big Sis asked her not to talk to me, so she didn't talk to me. Whether it was about the outcome or the reward, she was clueless and didn't care. She just had faith in her Big Sis. Such blind trust was not far from stupidity. I almost felt bad for her. Yeah, but at the same time, come on, try thinking about yourself. Time felt much longer when you were waiting. I even sighed in relief when I heard a sound approach. A motorcycle engine was shut down not too far away. This is a clue. And the closing footsteps echoed through the staircase. The noise was empty but had a certain rhythm. Again, this is also a clue. You could try to see where the stairs are and how many steps there are, maybe. There was no elevator. Was this an apartment or some privately owned house? When he can be smart if he wants to. I could only hear one person's steps, so there was no one coming back with her. I'm back! The one who walked in was the same girl from the day before, aka the Big Sis. That's what I'm gonna call her now as well. Same overcoat as yesterday, and her expression hadn't changed either. You wear different overcoats? What? I wear like one jacket like per season or something, and I own like 15 because that's my guilty pleasure, like buying different kinds of like jackets and stuff. And I have like so many windbreakers, for example. I can only ever wear one. Yeah, welcome home. I have a leather jacket, I have like several windbreakers, I have like a waterproof one with like military grade material that's like cut resistant, for example. That's my newest, the newest one I bought. Very expensive, like 400 euros or something. But I wanted it, and it's very nice. It keeps you warm even on a bicycle and stuff. And it's very sturdy as well. Unsure of what was going on in my mind, she looked at me suspiciously and handed a plastic bag in her hand to the other girl. Bento, eat it while it's still hot. Big sis. The little girl whispered something into her ear. I couldn't tell the context from this distance. He talked to me. The girl nodded, staring dead straight at me. Once the girl finished, she moved towards me with the knife. She tried to check the rope, even pulling at it a few times to make sure it was tight enough. I told you I didn't do anything. If I could get out of this, do you really think I'd stay here? Quiet. Ask her then. She threw the other girl a questioning glance, which was answered by a silent nod. Her head wasn't even turned. It seemed like the bento was much more attractive than the situation here. She snorted unhappily, but couldn't find a reason to act up. Fucking hell. She then just started to laugh scornfully. Whatever, I doubt you have the balls to try anything. Oh, I'm gonna slap them across your face once this is all over, don't worry. You have a rich mummy and daddy arranging everything for you from school to work. You probably even have a maid cleaning the house. You can't do shit on your own, can you? Here we go again. This ridiculous resentment was not just aimed at me, but anyone with a better life than her. What was the point of hating all these people? Would it change anything about her life? Wouldn't it be more practical if she tried to change something instead of hating? Where did he go? She probably would only be more pissed off if this continued, so I decided to change the subject to avoid trouble. Hey, let's just strike up a conversation with these two girls kidnapping me. Oh, wouldn't you like to know, She's such a massive bitch, but I feel like he deserves that. Not cutting me any slack, she raised her eyebrow provocatively. I sighed helplessly. This was really going nowhere if she kept up with this attitude. You start eating, don't mind me. Only after she spoke did I notice the little girl hadn't moved her chopsticks despite having the bento opened, as though waiting for a big sis to start the meal together. I had dinner already, don't need to leave me anything. Lying. She's most likely spending all of her money on a little sister. She loosened her furrowed brow and patted the little girl's head kindly. There was even a smile on her face. The little girl nodded obediently. Even an outsider like me could tell how close they were. If anything, I couldn't even believe she still had such an expression in her. More questions popped into my mind upon seeing their interaction. With such familiarity, what was the relationship? I have to ask again, are you dense? What's your problem? She's calling her big sister. Isn't that their relationship? What? The sound of water flowing in the bathroom reminded me that I hadn't taken a shower for 2 days. Maybe it's like a translation problem. Maybe in the original language it's not big sister but like something else, and just in English it's translated as sister out of, again, convenience, I don't know. It still felt uncomfortable even though I'd barely moved or sweat. I was willing to give up half of my possessions for a hot shower and pay with my future income for a cup of cocoa as a bonus. The little girl was clearly starved and was quietly and happily eating the rice. She paid no attention to me. Her figure looked extra weak and small from here. I still couldn't believe she could be a kidnapper. What kind of family would allow her to do such a thing? I assume she has none, you idiot. Whatever. Considering my own family, I had no right to criticize others. Phew. I just had the biggest shit in my life. The girl left the bathroom holding her hair. She only washed her face since there was no hot water. The light shone on her face, rendering her pale complexion a little more rosy, yet the expression on her face was still cold as ice. That's how I like my women. What are you looking at? She seemingly noticed my gaze and asked me with an eyebrow raised. Nothing, just that I hadn't taken a shower for a while. Oh god, they're gonna like put you in a shower and like splash you with cold water. Please stop it. You think there's some fancy hotel, rich boy? You want to take a shower, you little bitch? I would have called customer service given such quality. Keep flapping your mouth, I dare you. Never mind. Oh, they're either gonna fuck at the end of this or one of them is gonna be dead. This is ridiculous. She snorted with contempt, then walked to the window to lightly shake the little girl's shoulder. The little girl had finished her bento and was falling asleep against the wall, despite her best efforts to stay awake. Go to the bed to sleep. You'll catch a cold like this. She nodded sleepily and climbed into the bed obediently. There's a bed here? Not minding all the dust on it, she grabbed the bedsheet and lay down. Maybe she was really tired. It didn't take long for her to fall asleep completely, leaving only the sound of steady breathing in the room. The girl walked to the window, opened her bento and started to eat it quickly. Nothing for me. What? She said she had dinner already. But she brought another bento for herself? What? Nothing for me? Tormented by the scent of food, I couldn't help but ask. You can just eat the crackers. How about just a cup of coffee? I have money in my bag. Rather than a hot dinner, I preferred some hot coffee to relax my nerves. You done yet? Ugh. I'd learned that protesting wouldn't help, and now the headache was even more unbearable without coffee. She looked troubled and was just eating absent-mindedly. She kept poking the drumstick for what seemed to be no reason. Please stop playing with the food even if you're not in the mood. I can have it if you have no appetite. Hunger plus anger made me give the suggestion. I'm thinking about how to keep your mouth shut. Please tell me she's no food. I doubt me doing that would solve your problem. Though noticing her darkened look, I decided to keep my mouth shut. Piecing all the hints together along with her reaction, I could only come up with one conclusion. You couldn't reach my dad? How did... You're trying to trick me? What? No! What? How? Why? Realized she slipped without thinking, her face instantly darkened again. I didn't mean anything, I just thought... Fearing she might lose her temper, I immediately tried to pass off the responsibility. However, she stood up suddenly. You're looking down on me? Find me easy to fool, huh? She's legitimately crazy. She bit her lip, staring at me with utter hatred, voice colder than ever. Not at all, I'm just guessing randomly. There must be something wrong and I doubt the police have found out this soon. Look, You called the police?! Her reaction far surpassed my expectations. I tried to explain myself, but that did stop her walking towards me. She walked closer and closer with the knife, eyes flashing with hysteria. Was she really going to do this? No, I was really fearing for my life for the first time ever. She looked like a cornered animal that would try anything in desperation. Don't struggle. Just let it happen, please. If this game is an early bad end, I want to hit it. Before she got the money, she wouldn't kill me. If resistance was futile, I decided to close my eyes and grit my teeth, hoping she wouldn't continue further. I smelled a faint scent and felt a hair on my cheek, plus rapid breathing. It's happening now, boys. What's that smell? Unbelievably, at this moment of life or death, I was thinking about something this insignificant. Against my skin was a cold sensation. The blade was right before my chest. A simple push would bury it deep into my flesh. No, how can you have a cold sensation if the tip of the blade is pointed at your chest? And how can it be against your skin when it's on your chest? Are you not wearing anything? I opened my eyes and saw a look of pure ice right before me. I would say she looks pretty hot. Don't lie to me. The voice next to my ear was light but clear. I will say it one more time. Don't lie to me. If you look down on me, you will regret it. So what, am I not allowed to lie or am I not allowed to look down on you? You need to be more specific. Her voice was calm and the knife steady. She didn't clarify how she would do it, nor did she ask for my confirmation, yet this threat was more powerful than anything prior. All my words got stuck in my throat. My body was paralyzed to the point I couldn't even blink. She meant it. I could read the emotion in her eyes. It was pure murderous intent. No question about it, she would do it if I did it again. If you did what again? Exactly? What did we do? I'm done with folks like you. Don't think I can't. Worst case scenario, I will just die with you. No biggie for someone like me. Okay. If you have no attachment to your life, what even are you doing here? She finished her sentence, moved the knife away and walked back to the window. I just lay there on the ground motionlessly. My tense body was still trembling. Maybe I even pissed myself. At that moment I confirmed something. They could end me any time. Good, now that we know this, what are we gonna do? The notion of her not touching me before getting the money, or having some backup plan, meant nothing to them. At this point she had nothing to lose. I took a deep breath as I faced the window. That's how I calmed myself down since childhood. What I needed to do stayed the same. Wow. The fuck? Oh my god, this protagonist is unreal. The desk lamp drew a long shadow from her. What had just occurred still creeped me out a little. However, since she hadn't contacted my family, there was still a chance. I breathed in deeply, gathered the courage and talked to her. I have a proposal. She continued to look out the window motionlessly, showing no interest in my question. Let me go now and all my money is yours. Didn't he say this before? It might not be much, but still 70 to 80,000 NTD in total. And I swear I will tell no one. Can someone do the conversion for me? Knowing she must be listening, I kept going on my own even without a response. You can escort me to an ATM if you want to, or do it in any manner you prefer. You want to keep this on the down low, right? Why so insistent? I used my Did I just skip something? No. I used my last bit of strength to convince her, considering her position. I tried to propose something that would be mutually beneficial. I believe no one would risk his or her own life until there was no other choice. And now, it's still not too late. Think about it. The wait was so long I thought there was no response, but she finally turned her head. There was no rage in her eyes, only exhaustion. Why should I believe you? Why should you believe in my father if he says he gives you the money? What is this reasoning? You have me at figuratively gunpoint. You can't just come with me to an abandoned one, like one in a shopping mall where there's no one else or something. I don't know. Make me withdraw the money. Why should I believe that you will hand me the money and never call the cops? Why should I believe that you will let me go if you think I will call the cops? You think I'm not gonna call the cops after this anyway? I couldn't answer out of hesitation. It was hard to create a situation where both sides could trust each other in the first place. I wouldn't agree to such terms if the roles were reversed. I would be the one in control once I got my freedom. She wouldn't be able to do anything to stop me from calling the cops. Oh god. No answer? Then shut the fuck up and stop wasting my time. Rather than handing her fate to me, she'd rather believe in herself. All my gathered confidence grew fainter and fainter, and I was out of ideas temporarily. But if this kept going, then what can I do to win your trust? I asked with my last ounce of courage. Matching her stare, I could see the fragility under her cold look. She grew silent and started to ponder my question, then a bitter smile appeared on her face. I don't know. She didn't say she didn't want my trust, she just said she doesn't know how. That's interesting. She turned to the window and quietly said it again. I don't know. That is indeed interesting. The mood is heavy. I must try to do something. Let's again observe first. It's the bento box, I guess. What have we looked at before? It's my backpack. There's 2 things to look at with the window. 3 things even. I can't take a look at the books anymore, interestingly enough. It is a rectangular wooden desk. The rough, unprocessed surface has sawdust all over it. Looks like it's well worn with time. I wouldn't want to pick it up even if I found it at a recycling center. Just to make another rich boy comment. A strange looking lamp that doesn't even have a lampshade. I don't know what era it might have been made during. Can I toss it like a weapon? I have to untie myself first though. The ink green curtain is covered in thick dust, most likely having gone unwashed for a long time. I can't even tell what the original color was. It is for concealing the light in the room at night. It makes creaking sound every time someone pulls it. However, if there is a need to conceal the light, does it mean there's someone else nearby? That's an interesting thought. It was getting late and I still couldn't find a way to change the situation. Instead of escaping or waiting for the ransom, the safest option was to convince her to let me go. Things could still get resolved without much incident. It wouldn't be this easy once the police got involved. But how? Even though I could tell she had hesitated, I couldn't win her trust. So I had to win her trust first? Ooh. The sudden vibration broke the silence. She looked at the phone screen, then jolted a little, as though being electrocuted. She lowered her eyes and read the message. She raised the corner of her mouth, but didn't appear to be that happy. What is it? I had a bad feeling and instantly asked. There will be a call in 10 minutes. Tell your dad to pay up if you want to go home. The unexpected change of events instantly froze my blood. This was way too soon. I was naive to think I still had time to convince her. The moment she reached my family, there was no turning back. Why? What's going on? Why? The police would start taking action, the family preparing the ransom and the culprit preparing to escape. What now? What now? I quickly went through all the possibilities in my mind, but couldn't come up with a solution. I must not stop thinking, there must be a way. Time passed second by second, and I had no time to hesitate. It's the money you want, right? Is there really no other way? Out of options, I gave it my all and just yelled at her. Not giving her a chance to contemplate, I continued after a quick pause. Let me go, you can have all the money as proof of my silence about this. Think about it, you really think you can get the money this easily? Are you okay with playing hide and seek for the rest of your life? I couldn't finish my words. Seeing her expression, I realized that was it. Under the night light, she looked almost like a dream, too empty and transparent to be touched. That smile couldn't hide the helplessness and regret in her eyes. Silence and immense sadness. There's no turning back. She looked so different suddenly. Her voice was calm, surprisingly. There was no anger or accusation, only concession in that expression. She surrendered to a hopeless life. Nothing was more convincing than that expression. So even she could express such hopelessness. Or even she could express such hopelessness, rather. There has been no turning back since a long time ago. The phone vibrated again. Seeing her pick up the phone, I couldn't say anything. I should have known. The moment the phone rang, nay, from the very beginning. She had no other choice but this. She had a choice just not to kidnap me, you know? Under the serene moonlight, the cogwheel started to spin faster. The girl opened the phone. The screen flashed the time, 3 AM. There was only steady breathing in the room. The boy couldn't resist the desire to sleep after all. It's the money you want, right? Is there really no other way? Remembering his words, the determination in his eyes surpassed her expectations. Perhaps he wasn't as useless as she'd thought. There was no regret in her decision, only a vague note of ironic sadness. Never until this moment had anyone cared what she wanted, trying to convince her not to break the law. No more, one should take responsibility for one's life, or don't keep asking someone to help you. There was no return. Either she would get the money and pay the debt, or get arrested instead. The girl raised her head and looked into the starry sky, standing next to the window like a statue. The stars sparkled like her unsettled mind. Finally, she breathed out quietly. Worst case scenario, I would just die with him. The quiet voice of the girl evaporated in the room along with the cigarette smoke. Again, stop smoking. It's bad for your health and costs a lot. At least in Germany. I don't know how it is in other countries.